Hi, this is Walter Lemons, and I'm here to show my GeniusHour project. It is about Operation Dragoon, which is a battle fought on the very southernmost tip of France during World War II, and it was not very well known, but still a very large turning point in World War II, especially because it added to the D-Day invasion. So, starting out on the beaches, right along here, we have men coming right out of the water, even right over there, there's one. And there was not much opposition on the beaches, surprisingly, and since that, there was not many casualties. So, over here, though, for some reason, they didn't protect these like they did in Normandy. There was guns along the beaches to take out ships. So, most of them were decommed naval guns and tank guns from, obviously, ships and tanks. So, they were protected because they had such strong firepower that they were important things. So, that was one thing why they didn't do so well. They just weren't very well protected in this case. So we were able to make it up onto the beach relatively easily. So for the next section, over in here, we have some men that made it up from other beaches. Because of the light opposition, that allowed us to come in and just flank them from either side. So here we are, just coming in. There's roads in a little village. So they're just coming in, pouring in, and over to the right, there's a tank that has actually been taken out very quickly by a man with a bazooka and another one with a flamethrower. So even though it doesn't look much like a tank anymore, but they just came in from either side and started helping out the guys on the beach as much as they could. However, they still needed to push, which is why they're seen here crossing the river with a tank. But to go back to this midsection, see this guy right here? Well, that was one of the tactics used a lot by the Germans, which allowed a man to be not easily seen because he was up at a high distance, but very deadly still. And so when they crossed the river, there are hedgerows, which was one other way that they used to try to kind of combat. The Germans tried to combat the U.S. more commonly a lot in Europe. So they're advancing from the sides, and so along the hedgerows there are men concealed in the hedges, and that was not very good, especially because we couldn't see the Germans that were attacking them. So what we did is we set up machine guns and mortars along the edges of where we were attacking every time to knock them out with just explosions and such, just try to flush them out. And so when we flanked them from the outer edges, it worked normally quite effectively. To go on to the last section, over here in the back, there's some American soldiers that are clearing this house and coming out behind the Germans in the trench, the hedgerows. So when we did that, these men would go way behind the people who'd flanked and just try to knock them out. It's not going that well for them at this point, but it sure helped the men who were still attacking from the edges. So that's pretty much the whole battlefield. And even though it's not moving, that's mostly what it looked like all the way up and down the beaches.